The applause faded, the music softened, and just as I let go of my neighbor's hand after one simple dance at a beautiful afternoon wedding, she looked into my eyes with tears quietly gathering and whispered that everyone had just seen me choose her. My heart froze. To me, it had been one spontaneous dance between two friends. To her, it meant something far deeper because she had spent years believing no one would ever choose her first. In that unforgettable moment, surrounded by smiling guests beneath the warm afternoon sun, I realized a single decision could either heal a broken heart or leave it carrying one more silent scar. If you believe kindness, forgiveness, hope, and second chances still exist, please like this video, leave a meaningful comment, share this story with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to our channel so you never miss another emotional journey with our family and our community. My name is Beckett Holloway, and until that afternoon, I believed my life followed a comfortable routine that rarely changed. I worked as a high school art teacher, spending my weekdays encouraging students to discover beauty in ordinary things. My evenings were usually quiet, filled with painting landscapes or tending to the small flower garden outside my townhouse. After a difficult breakup several years earlier, I convinced myself that friendship was easier than romance because friendships asked for less courage. Living next door was a woman named Rosalie Mercer. She worked as a pediatric occupational therapist, helping children overcome injuries and developmental challenges with extraordinary patience. Every morning she greeted neighbors with a cheerful smile, carried groceries for elderly residents, and somehow remembered every child's birthday in the neighborhood. Most people admired her kindness without realizing how much pain she quietly carried inside. Rosalie had once been engaged. Only weeks before her wedding, her fiancé ended the relationship after deciding he wanted a completely different future. The heartbreak didn't simply end a romance. It quietly stole her confidence. Although years had passed, she still struggled to believe anyone could genuinely choose her over someone else. Our friendship developed naturally through everyday moments. We shared fresh vegetables from our gardens. We helped each other shovel snow during winter and planted flowers every spring. We watched neighborhood children play from our front porches while talking about books, travel dreams, and family traditions. She became the closest friend I had. Yet neither of us ever crossed the invisible line separating friendship from something more. One bright Saturday afternoon, we attended the outdoor wedding of another neighbor held in a beautiful botanical garden. Sunlight poured across colorful flowers while guests celebrated beneath elegant white tents. Laughter echoed through the gardens as families reunited and children chased bubbles across the lawn. Everything felt peaceful. After the ceremony, the newly married couple invited everyone onto the dance floor. At first I remained near the tables, uncomfortable with dancing in front of large crowds. Then I noticed Rosalie standing alone beside the garden fountain. Several couples had already invited friends and loved ones onto the dance floor, but no one had approached her. Without thinking too deeply, I walked across the lawn, smiled warmly, and offered my hand. She accepted. We danced slowly beneath the afternoon sunlight while everyone around us celebrated new beginnings. There was nothing dramatic. Nothing rehearsed. Only two friends enjoying one beautiful moment. When the music ended, I thanked her for the dance. That was when she quietly looked toward the smiling guests and softly admitted that everyone had just watched me choose her. She explained that after her broken engagement, every wedding reminded her of promises that disappeared. For years she had stood alone watching others build happy lives while wondering what she lacked. The simple act of someone publicly choosing to spend one dance with her unexpectedly reached a place inside her heart she believed had closed forever. Her words stayed with me long after the wedding ended. Driving home beneath the warm afternoon sky, I realized how often we underestimate ordinary acts of kindness. A dance lasting only a few minutes had reminded someone they still deserved to be seen. Over the following weeks I found myself thinking about Rosalie more often. Not because her words made me feel guilty. Because they made me realize how naturally my happiest moments always seemed to include her. She celebrated my successes without jealousy. She encouraged me whenever work became overwhelming. She quietly made ordinary days feel lighter simply by being present. Meanwhile, Rosalie continued volunteering every weekend at a community rehabilitation center where children practiced mobility exercises through games, painting, and gardening. Watching her patiently encourage frightened children reminded me of the remarkable strength hidden beneath her gentle personality. She spent so much time lifting others that she rarely allowed anyone to lift her. One afternoon, the rehabilitation center announced plans to build an accessible sensory garden where recovering children could safely explore nature. Funding shortages threatened to cancel the entire project. Without hesitation, our neighborhood organized fundraising events. I painted artwork for charity auctions. Rosalie coordinated volunteers. Families donated supplies. Children planted the first flowers together. Working side by side throughout the project brought us even closer. We laughed while building raised flower beds. We celebrated every donation regardless of size. We discovered that meaningful relationships often grow strongest while serving others. Then unexpected news arrived. Rosalie received an outstanding career opportunity at a children's rehabilitation hospital in another city several hours away. The position represented everything she had worked toward professionally. Accepting it meant leaving behind the neighborhood, the sensory garden, and the friendships that had slowly restored her confidence. She struggled with the decision. Part of her longed for the opportunity. Another part feared starting over alone once again. I knew asking her to stay for my sake would be selfish. Instead, I encouraged her to follow the path that fulfilled her purpose. Yet as the weeks passed, something inside me became impossible to ignore. I wasn't afraid of losing a neighbor. I was afraid of losing the woman who had quietly become the most important person in my everyday life. The evening before she planned to make her final decision, our neighborhood gathered for the grand opening of the completed sensory garden. Children laughed among colorful flowers while parents watched with grateful smiles. Standing beside the garden entrance, I remembered that single dance at the wedding. Back then I believed I had chosen Rosalie for one song. The truth was far greater. Without realizing it, I had been choosing her every ordinary day afterward. I chose her when I saved vegetables from my garden knowing she loved fresh tomatoes. I chose her whenever I repaired something around her house before she even asked. I chose her each afternoon we spent helping children instead of chasing easier ways to spend our weekends. Looking into her eyes, I finally understood that love often arrives quietly through repeated acts of care rather than dramatic moments. I admitted that the dance had never truly ended inside my heart. Rosalie smiled through joyful tears. She confessed she had accepted the new position only because she believed nothing meaningful still connected her to the neighborhood beyond friendships. Now she realized she already possessed everything she had been searching for. Together we explored another possibility. The rehabilitation hospital agreed to let her begin part-time while continuing community outreach programs locally during the transition. My school approved a flexible art education partnership allowing me to organize creative therapy workshops for recovering children there as well. Instead of forcing one person to sacrifice everything, we built a future supporting both dreams. Months later, another wedding filled our neighborhood with celebration beneath bright afternoon sunshine. This time we stood among friends not as uncertain neighbors but as two people grateful they had found the courage to choose one another openly. The music began again. Before anyone else reached the dance floor, I offered my hand. Rosalie smiled exactly as she had months earlier. The difference was that neither of us questioned what the choice meant anymore. Before this story comes to its close, we would love to hear from you. Please leave a meaningful comment sharing whether you believe small acts of kindness can change someone's life, or tell us about a moment when someone made you feel truly chosen. Looking back, I realized that love is rarely announced by grand speeches. Sometimes it begins with one unexpected dance. Sometimes it grows through shared service, quiet loyalty, and ordinary afternoons. Most importantly, it reminds us that every heart longs for the same simple reassurance, to be chosen not once, but every day. If this story touched your heart, please like this video, leave a meaningful comment, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to our channel so you never miss another emotional journey. May this story remind us that the greatest gift we can give another person is not perfection or wealth, but the quiet promise that when life offers us a choice, we will keep choosing them with kindness, faithfulness, and love.